Shami Yashar'AL, AHAYAH, Alahyanawah, AHAYAH, Accad, Shabbat, Shalawam, Barak, Athah. Welcome to World War III. Our reference today will be Proverbs 20, chapter 3. This message is entitled Peace Translated. Many of you today are eyewitnesses of the events that are happening right before your eyes, from what is called global warming, horrific hurricanes, tornadoes in irregular locations, polar caps melting, earthquakes, desertification, drought, hunger, sporadic disease, mass shootings, and war. Lots and lots of war. War on top of war. As if simple reading the Holy Scriptures is not sufficient for the scholarly review, every theological seminary at all major universities, higher education, they know specifically who the true Hebrew Israelites are. Again, every theological seminary know who the true Hebrew Israelites are. They're on record. And who the God of their forefathers are as well. But everyone, including the true Hebrew Israelites, continue on the path most traveled by outright liars who obey the spirit of death. You see, scattered Negroes have something to consider here as lost tribes. All three Abrahamic faiths are spread across their globe. They're spread across their global world. And peace is yet to come. Not one of their masters of religion can teach goodness or peace on a foundation of war. The prince ruler, Moses, who's known as the lawgiver, gave us what is called an Old Testimony by war. General Constantine, who is a Macedonian, he gave Gentiles Christianity. The Arabic prophet Muhammad gave his people Islam by the sword. The Tiberian Edomites of the conquering Roman Empire gave the Yiddish people a Babylonian Talmud. Now, Moses was not allowed to enter the promised land. King David was not allowed to build the most holy of holies in a city called Peace. And all the Hebrew Israelite prophets of old gave their lives to turn Jacob's troubles, true Hebrew Israelites, to turn Jacob's troubles into life. That meaning today we are all taught to struggle with a good and evil tree, the fruit thereon, never considering the tree of life in the same garden. The Abrahamic faiths have only taught a gospel of good and evil, thereby bringing death into their religious equation of life of a living God. Murder, death, or kill culture, and their master, who is called death, is an enemy of life created. The Most High Power, which is God, said his creation was created as good. So there should be no struggle if your focus is on the peace of life. The power of life does not allow a pinch of death, and the culture that pertains to him in the presence of life. Remember that. No death is allowed in the presence of life. Death has always been the enemy of life, making him a final enemy in the coming kingdom. All ancient prophets recalled Israelites to find peace as it was meant from the beginning. For the true Hebrew Israelites, peace is not found in civil rights, constantly reformed. Peace is not found in voting that can be given or taken away. Peace is not found or following or obeying evil rule and the authority of foreign ancestors. We're told to honor our own ancestors. Peace is certainly not continuing on the translated, meaning changed, gospel or good news of murderous people. As the Messiah, who is known as Jesus Christ, said Isaiah's prophecy was fulfilled for the Hebrew Israelites in his time. Isaiah's whole message was for Hebrew Israelites, mind you. The book of John's Revelation is now happening in your face. Isaiah called on Africa beyond the rivers of Ethiopia to awaken. So did other prophets, showing you all the places Israelites would muster, meaning they would be scattered into these different areas. In the very last chapter of his book, he shows you that those nations, those Gentiles, would return God's people to Jerusalem, which is a city of peace, as a peace offering to their ancestors' God. Later, the prophet Jeremiah, who prophesied of true Israelites, would disappear into eternity, into Africa, until the world recognized Jacob's troubles have been recorded as fleeing the persecution of Romanish Christianity from Palestine, the Mohammedan persecutions and slavery in Africa, and the complete identity theft from the Talmudists. A translation of peace will always mean murderous fruit on a good and evil tree. We don't need a sacrifice or a sanctuary made by the bloodthirsty hands of a man. Now may the spirit of life be a little sanctuary in the peaceful hearts of all Hebrew Israelites in Jacob's troubles. As I remind you all, we only live here. We're not a racist hate group. I am a Hebrew Israelite. I am also a conscientious objector, a minister of peace. Hebrew Israelite out.